Hello everyone, good evening. Am I audible and visible? Somebody please ping me so that I can begin with today's important session. Hello everyone, hi, this is Alok Ojha. Welcome to StudyIQ English. So as you can see the board, our today's topic of discussion is background of Anglo-Maratha Wars, and we are going to discuss first Anglo-Maratha War. By now, as a part of important series of wars, we have covered different wars such as Anglo-Carnatic Wars, Battle of Buxar, Third Battle of Panipat, apart from this, Battle of Plassey, and all the four Anglo-Mysore Wars. Today, we are going to start with the series of Anglo-Maratha Wars, and in today's session, as discussed previously, we are going to throw light on First Anglo-Maratha War. So, my friends, it's a request to all of you. Please listen to me patiently. Please listen to me carefully, because I'm going to explain all the things in a gradual step-by-step manner for easier understanding of the concept. Correct? Like, for example, if you read from a particular book, irrespective of the book that you're going through, like if you read who was Raghunath Rao, how did Raghunath Rao come to power, then who was Madhav Rao, who was Narayan Rao, who was Madhav Rao II or Savai Madhav Rao. So in such a situation, you'll get confused. So, but if you try to understand all these characters with the help of a story and their association with English East India Company, it will become quite easier for you guys to understand the series of Anglo-Maratha Wars. So hence, it's a request to all of you. Please listen to me carefully. Please listen to me patiently. Okay. So now, without wasting any more time, let's begin our today's session on Anglo-Maratha Wars. Okay. So already we have seen the third battle of Panipat, but we need to understand the background of the Anglo-Maratha War. So I'll be discussing the third battle of Panipat again in short, just within a time span of 3 to 4 minutes. Clear? Now, precisely speaking, the coronation of Shivaji Maharaj took place in 1674. To be very precise, 6th June 1674. And from here onward, Shivaji Maharaj ji was referred as Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Chhatrapati means ruler of the people. And he was also referred as Hindavi Dharmodharak, that is protector of Hinduism. It is said that the coronation ceremony specifically was done by a Brahmin from Kashi or Varanasi. His name was Vishweshwar Gangarao Bhatt. And on the day of the coronation of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj ji, gold coins were distributed, and these gold coins were referred as Shivrai Hone. Now, in 1680, Shivaji Maharaj ji passed away when he was approximately 52 to 53 years of age. After Shivaji Maharaj ji comes to power his son, Chhatrapati Shambhaji Maharaj ji. And Chhatrapati Shambhaji Maharaj ji is also referred as Chhawa. Chhawa basically means a lion's cub. And after him comes to power Chhatrapati Shahu Maharaj. So right from the time of Shivaji Maharaj itself, it is said that Shivaji Maharaj was assisted in performance of his duties by 8 important council of ministers. And these 8 important council of ministers were referred as Ashtapradhana. Among Ashtapradhan, the most important position was of Peshwas, and Peshwas were also referred as Pant Pradhan or the Prime Minister. In very simple words, the Pant Pradhan or Prime Minister acted as a channel of communication between the Chhatrapati and the other Ashtapradhan or the other council of ministers. So, from the time of Chhatrapati Shahu Maharaj, that is the son of Shambhaji Maharaj ji, the position of Peshwa became very powerful. Very, very powerful. And Balaji Vishwanath was the first Peshwa. After Balaji Vishwanath, the most powerful Peshwa at that time was Bajirao I. Bajirao I is considered as the greatest Peshwa among all the Peshwas. Okay, like many historians do believe that Bajirao Peshwa had fought many battles in his life, and he was victorious in all the battles that he had fought. And one of the major reasons for that was the technique that was adopted by Bajirao I. And that technique was referred as Blitzkrieg technique. Now, what is Blitzkrieg technique all about? I had already narrated a story about this. Like, precisely speaking, once upon a time, Bajirao I was having his food, and there was a person who enters and informs Bajirao that Raja Chhatrasal of Bundelkhand is seeking your help. Okay. And it is said that the region of Bundelkhand, it is located in northern part of Madhya Pradesh, and it was attacked by a Mughal commander whose name was Bangash Khan. So he was seeking help from Peshwa Bajirao I. And at that time, many historians do believe that the distance from Deccan to Bundelkhand can be covered approximately within a span of 10 to 12 days. On the other hand, Bajirao I was known for his, what we say, fast-moving cavalry. Okay, so he covered that distance within a span of 2 to 5 days. He destroyed and attacked Mughal commander Bangash Khan and came back. So that kind of a technique is referred as blitzkrieg technique. Blitzkrieg means attacking at the speed of lightning, even before the enemy could imagine. A person has attacked, destroyed, and came back. In fact, that same technique has been adopted by Germany against Poland in World War II. So Peshwa Bajirao was known for his speed, and he was considered as the greatest Peshwa. Yes, good evening, Meghalaya. He was considered as the greatest Peshwa. Now, during the time of Peshwa Bajirao, the Maratha Confederacy was divided into 5 parts. Okay, try and understand everything. Maratha Confederacy was divided into 5 parts, and they had their own sphere of influence. But all of them worked under whom? Chhatrapati Shahu Maharaj. Okay, all of them. So the Maratha Confederacy was located at 5 different places, like Gaikwads were heading at Baroda, Bhosles in the region of Nagpur, Peshwas in Pune, Holkars in the region of Indore, and Scindias in the region of Gwalior. So that was a Maratha Confederacy that came into existence during the time of Peshwa Bajirao I. Okay, just a second. So they had their own sphere of influence. Clear? Now what happened further? Let's analyze this. Now, Bajirao I had 2 wives. The name of the first wife was Kashibai, and the name of second wife of Bajirao I was Mastani Bai. Okay, from Kashibai he had 2 sons, Balaji Bajirao, who was also referred as Nana Sahib, Raghunath Rao, also referred as Raghoba. A very important role is played in the first Anglo-Maratha War by Raghunath Rao. Hence, it's a request, please listen carefully and patiently if you have to understand the entire story. Okay, so Peshwa Bajirao I had 2 wives. One was Kashibai and second one was Mastani Bai. From Kashibai he had 2 sons, that is Balaji Bajirao, also referred as Nana Sahib, and specifically Raghunath Rao, also referred as Raghoba. From Mastani Bai he had 1 son referred as Shamsher Bahadur, who is also called as Krishna Rao. Apart from this, Bajirao I had a brother whose name was Chimaji Appa, and the son of Chimaji Appa was Sadashiv Rao Bhau. Clear? Now, unfortunately, Peshwa Bajirao I passed away in 1740, approximately around 1740-41 due to high fever. Now, there was a very big question in front of Maratha Chhatrapati Shahu Maharaj, that who to choose the next Peshwa. So, Balaji Bajirao was chosen as the next Peshwa, who was the eldest son of Bajirao I. Okay, and the other 3 brothers of Balaji Bajirao were chosen as the military commanders, such as Raghunath Rao or Raghoba, then Shamsher Bahadur or Krishna Rao, and Sadashiv Rao Bhau. They were chosen as military commanders for the next Peshwa, Balaji Bajirao. Okay, now unfortunately in 1749, Chhatrapati Shahu Maharaj also passed away. And when Chhatrapati Shahu Maharaj passed away, Peshwa became the de facto ruler of the Marathas. De facto ruler of the Marathas from now onwards was Peshwa. So whatever Peshwa used to say, the other members or the other chief of the confederacy had to follow that. Okay? And at the same time, from 1748 itself, the power of Mughals had started declining. Why the power of Mughals had started declining? Because of the continuous invasions and attack by Nadir Shah and the most important Afghan leader Ahmad Shah Abdali. Like it is said that Ahmad Shah Abdali, this period from 1748 to 1767, he had conducted 8 raids and he had conquered and plundered the region around Delhi for 8 times. So he had conquered the northwestern part of India. And when he had conquered the northwestern part of India, he had made his son Timur Shah Durrani as the governor of Sindh Multan, Lahore, that is around the region of Punjab and Kashmir, Timur Shah Durrani was made as the governor by Ahmad Shah Abdali. So when there was a continuous attack by Ahmad Shah Abdali, Mughals' power started declining. Now Mughals approached whom? Mughals approached Balaji Bajirao, that is Nana Sahib, for help. Now Balaji Bajirao put forward a question in front of the Mughals that why should we help you? And what will Marathas get back in return? So in that case, like the Mughal emperor said, what do you want? So Balaji Bajirao said, I want the Chauth. And as we have discussed previously, what is Chauth? If you want that Maratha should not raid on your territory, in that case, you have to pay 1/4 of your annual, 1/4 of your annual tax collection as a tribute to the Marathas. So Mughal emperor accepted this. In 1752, there was a rebellion by the Rohillas against the Mughals. So again, what happened? Again, the Mughals approached Peshwa Balaji Bajirao. Balaji Bajirao said that, okay, I will help you out. I don't have any problem in helping you out. But there is one condition. And what is the condition? That you have to pay the Chauth of Sindh, Lahore, Multan, Hisar, and Moradabad. Okay? So these are the 5 territories from where you have to pay the Chauth. This was a condition put forward by Peshwa Balaji Bajirao in front of Ahmad Shah Bahadur, who was the Mughal emperor at that time. And apart from this, you also have to hand over the governorship of Agra and Ajmer to the Marathas. Mughal emperor accepted all these terms and conditions. Okay? But as we have discussed, the region of Sindh, Lahore and Multan were under whom? They were under Timur Shah Durrani, son of Ahmad Shah Abdali. Correct? So obviously, when these regions were granted in Chauth to Marathas and when these regions are under the son of Abdali, obviously the battle between both of them becomes inevitable. So what happened at that time? Peshwa Balaji Bajirao dispatched one of his brothers whose name was Raghunath Rao to defeat Timur Shah Durrani. And Raghunath Rao, also referred as Raghoba, he went and defeated Timur Shah Durrani and acquired the region of Multan, Lahore and Sindh. And when Ahmad Shah Abdali comes to know about this, the battle becomes inevitable, and that was referred as Third Battle of Panipat, which was fought in 1761. Okay. So as a part of Third Battle of Panipat, as we have discussed previously, what had happened? Marathas lost the battle, and in case, like I'll give you a very small example. Now, before I begin with the First Anglo-Maratha War, Marathas had lost the battle. Okay. In that case, Peshwa Balaji Bajirao, he had 3 sons. Vishwas Rao, second son was Madhav Rao, third son was Narayan Rao. Okay. Then he had 3 brothers, as we had seen. Raghunath Rao or Raghoba. Sorry, not 3 sons, 3 brothers. Okay. Raghoba, then Samsher Bahadur, also referred as Krishna Rao, and the third brother was Sadashiv Rao Bhau. Okay. So the Third Battle of Panipat was fought, and when the Third Battle of Panipat was fought, from the side of Marathas, there were 3 important leaders, or there were 3 important military commanders who were leading the battle. The first one was Vishwas Rao, the elder son of Peshwa Balaji Bajirao. Then the other 2 was Shamsher Bahadur, also referred as Krishna Rao, and the third was Sadashiv Rao Bhau. Unfortunately, all these 3 military commanders of the Marathas lost their lives in the Third Battle of Panipat. So in that case, what happened? Precisely, Sadashiv Rao Bhau, Shamsher Bahadur and Vishwas Rao passed away in the Third Battle of Panipat. They died in the Third Battle of Panipat. And after the Third Battle of Panipat, it is said that Peshwa Balaji Bajirao, he fell ill, and 6 months after that, he also passed away. Okay. Now comes the actual story. Hope so you understood till here. Because if you have understood till here, now comes the other part of the story. So you have to listen to me carefully and patiently. Hope so the points are clear till here. Okay. Now pay attention carefully further. Peshwa Balaji Bajirao. Okay. Six months after the third battle of Panipat, he also passed away. Now the question in front of the entire Maratha confederacy was whom to choose the next Peshwa. Why? Because Madhav Rao, the son of Peshwa Balaji Bajirao, he was just 16 years of age. So his brother Raghunath Rao or Raghoba, he was dreaming of becoming the next Peshwa. So Raghunath Rao thought that after the death of his brother Balaji Bajirao, he would be chosen as the next Peshwa. But he was not chosen as the next Peshwa. The next Peshwa was the other son of Balaji Bajirao, whose name was Madhav Rao. He was just 16 years of age, but he was a person of daring and determination. And he was able to have a good control over the Maratha confederacy. Okay, yes, Sangeeta ji, very good evening. So, I'll repeat the points again. After the death of Peshwa Balaji Bajirao, his brother Raghunath Rao expected that he would become the next Peshwa. But he was not supported by the Maratha confederacy. So what happened? After the death of Peshwa Balaji Bajirao, his son Madhav Rao was chosen as the next Peshwa, who was just 16 years of age. And apart from this, he was a person of daring and determination, and he was an able administrator. He had a good command, he had a good control over the Maratha confederacy. But this was not at all liked by his uncle Raghunath Rao. So Raghunath Rao, he was continuously planning and plotting against his own nephew Madhav Rao. There was a continuous plan, there was a continuous plot against Madhav Rao by his own uncle Raghunath Rao. Why? Because he was aspiring to become the Peshwa, but he couldn't become the Peshwa. So he had a kind of an animosity towards his own nephew. And Madhav Rao, he comes to know about this. And when Madhav Rao comes to know about this, what did Madhav Rao do? Madhav Rao imprisoned his own uncle, or he kept him in house arrest at Shaniwar Wada in Pune. So Raghunath Rao, he was being imprisoned by his, what we say, nephew Madhav Rao. Okay. Unfortunately, in 1772, Madhav Rao also passed away due to tuberculosis. And he was succeeded by his younger brother Narayan Rao, or the youngest son of Balaji Bajirao. Okay. So, after the death of Madhav Rao in 1772 due to tuberculosis, he was succeeded by his younger brother, whose name was Narayan Rao. Now, Narayan Rao was not that able administrator like his father Balaji Bajirao and like his brother Madhav Rao. And one more mistake that he committed was, he released his uncle Raghunath Rao or Raghoba from the jail. Okay, as we had discussed, since his uncle Raghunath Rao, he was continuously planning and plotting against the previous Peshwa Madhav Rao, so he was being imprisoned in Shaniwar Wada. He was kept at house arrest in Shaniwar Wada. So when Narayan Rao, he became the next Peshwa after the death of his brother Madhav Rao, he released his uncle Raghunath Rao or Raghoba. And Raghunath Rao or Raghoba again started planning and plotting against his own nephew Narayan Rao. And this time his plan was successful. In a very successful manner, it is said that Narayan Rao was being killed by Raghunath Rao, the uncle of Narayan Rao. Hope so the points are clear. So, at this particular point of time, what happened? Raghunath Rao, he had killed his nephew Narayan Rao. And after killing his nephew Narayan Rao, what happened? He declared himself as the next Peshwa. Although the Maratha Confederacy did not accept Raghunath Rao or Raghoba as the Maratha Peshwa, but still he declared himself as the next Peshwa. And in fact, the people of Pune also did not accept him as the next Peshwa, but still forcibly he sat on the throne of Peshwa. Okay? Now, there comes a twist in the story. In 1773, when Narayan Rao was murdered by his own uncle, Raghunath Rao, at that time, the wife of Narayan Rao, Gangabai, she was pregnant. Okay. And when Gangabai was pregnant in 1774, she gave birth to a child. Okay. And the child was later on named as Savai Madhav Rao. Is the picture clear till here? Please answer in the comment section. Do you want me to repeat any part of the story so that all your concepts become crystal clear? Okay, I'll repeat the points again within next 30 seconds. Please pay attention carefully. Okay. After the third battle of Panipat, later on, like after the 6 months, Balaji Bajirao also passed away. Now, Balaji Bajirao, like it is said that after his death, his brother Raghunath Rao or Raghubai expected that he would become the next Peshwa. But he did not become the Peshwa. In fact, the son of Balaji Bajirao, Madhav Rao, became the next Peshwa. But there was continuous planning and plotting by his uncle against him. So he had imprisoned his uncle in Shaniwarwada. Madhav Rao passed away in 1772 due to tuberculosis, and he was succeeded by his younger brother Narayan Rao. Now, what mistake was committed by Narayan Rao? Narayan Rao released his uncle Raghunath Rao from the house arrest in Shaniwarwada. And when he released him, Raghunath Rao, he killed his own nephew, that is Narayan Rao. And Raghunath Rao or Raghuba declared himself as the next Peshwa. Correct? And when he declared himself as the next Peshwa, what happened? Like specifically, Narayan Rao died in 1773 approximately. And at that time, his wife Gangabai, she was pregnant. And in 1774, she gave birth to a child who was later on called as Savai Madhav Rao. Okay? Now let's understand the further part of the story. At that time, the most influential minister among all the Maratha was Nana Fadnavis. Okay, he was the most influential minister of the Marathas at that time. And Nana Fadnavis had taken a vow. And what vow he had taken? Until and unless I install Savai Madhav Rao or Madhav Rao II on the throne of Peshwa, okay, I won't be, what we say, leading any major campaigns. This was a vow that was taken by Nana Fadnavis. Okay. So he had taken a pledge, he has taken a vow that I will install Savai Madhav Rao or Madhav Rao II at any cost on the throne of Peshwa. Okay. And in fact, it is said that like the name to this child, Savai Madhav Rao, was given by Nana Fadnavis itself. So he has taken a vow, he has taken a pledge. And for that case, it is said that he required the support of other ministers. So apart from Nana Fadnavis, there were 11 to 12 other influential ministers, few among them such as Tukoji Rao Holkar, Maharji Scindia, Haripant Phadke, Moroba Fadnis, and so on. These were the few influential ministers apart from Nana Fadnavis. So Nana Fadnavis gathered all these ministers and formed a council. And that council was referred as Bara Bhai Council. And Bara Bhai Council collectively took a pledge. They collectively took a vow. We have to install Madhav Rao II or Savai Madhav Rao on the throne of Peshwa. So it is said that the people of Pune also supported this. Apart from this, the other chiefs of Maratha Confederacy also supported Nana Fadnavis and the Bara Bhai Council. Bara Bhai means 12 brothers or the 12 important ministers. So the other chiefs of the Maratha Confederacy also supported Bara Bhai Council. And now Savai Madhav Rao, he became the next Peshwa in 1775. And you cannot imagine, Savai Madhav Rao was the youngest Peshwa. What was his age when he became the Peshwa? He was just 40 days old when he became the next Peshwa with the help of Bara Bhai Council. Just 40 days old. And so, this Bara Bhai Council from here onward started working as a regent or a Raj Pratinidhi for 40 days old Peshwa Savai Madhav Rao. Is the picture clear till here, my friends? Yes? Okay. So, precisely speaking, Barabhai Council started working as a regent for a new Peshwa Savai Madhav Rao. Now, let's move how English East India Company entered into all of this. Pay attention carefully. Further, who was the Peshwa? Initially, Madhav Rao was the Peshwa. After Madhav Rao, his younger brother Narayan Rao. After killing Narayan Rao, Raghunath Rao became the Peshwa. And with the help of Barabhai Council, the son of Narayan Rao, Savai Madhav Rao was made as the next Peshwa, and the person Raghunath Rao, he was removed from the post of Peshwa. So, when Raghunath Rao or Raghuba, he was removed from the post of Peshwa, it was a kind of a humiliation for him. And he felt a bit infuriated and annoyed. So, what did he do? He went to English East India Company for help. Who? Raghunath Rao or Raghuba. And English East India Company was waiting for all this to happen. As we had seen in the previous sessions itself, English East India Company is a very diplomatic company. They always follow the policy of divide and rule. So at that time, Raghunath Rao, he goes to Bombay Council of English East India Company. And when he goes to Bombay Council of English East India Company, explains the entire condition. Now, English East India Company put forward a question in front of this person, Raghunath Rao. Suppose if you help you in becoming the next Peshwa, what will English East India Company get back in return? So it is said that Treaty of Surat was signed at that time. And what was Treaty of Surat all about? Raghunath Rao, to become the Peshwa, he was ready to surrender specifically the region of Salseet and Bassein to English East India Company. And they were quite important from the perspective of trade. He was also ready to share the revenue from the Surat and Bharuch region with English East India Company. And English East India Company said that we will provide you 2,500 European soldiers for help. To whom? Raghunath Rao. And this treaty is referred as Treaty of Surat. So the first Anglo-Maratha War began with the Treaty of Surat. Please listen to all the treaties because as a part of first Anglo-Maratha War, totally there are 4 treaties. So it all began with the Treaty of Surat. Correct? As I've told you, Raghunath Rao, he was removed from the post of Peshwa. He approached the Bombay Council of English East India Company and signed Treaty of Surat. As a part of Treaty of Surat, Raghunath Rao or Raghuba was ready to surrender the Salseet and Bassein to English East India Company. He also agreed to share the revenue of Surat and Bharuch with English East India Company. On the other hand, English East India Company said that we will provide you 2,500 European soldiers. And this is referred as nothing but Treaty of Surat. So one copy of Treaty of Surat was sent to Bengal Council. Correct? As I've told you, Raghunath Rao or Raghuba, he met the Bombay Council of English East India Company. And the Treaty of Surat was signed with Bombay Council. But finally, this treaty needs to be ratified and approved by whom? The Calcutta Council or Bengal Council. So, one copy of the Treaty of Surat, it was sent to Bengal Council for ratification. Okay, for the approval. By now, the approval has not come. And on 15th March 1775, the combined army of English East India Company's Bombay Council led by Colonel Keatings, led by Colonel Keatings, left for which place? Left for attacking the region of Poona. So the combined army of Raghunath Rao and Colonel Keatings, they left on 15th of March 1775 from Surat to Poona. Okay, and the Maratha army was led by one of the major military commanders at that time, whose name was Haripant Phadke. And it is said that Marathas, they are expert in guerrilla warfare techniques. So Marathas were successful in defeating the combined army of Colonel Keatings and Raghunath Rao. Meanwhile, at that time, the Governor General of Bengal was Lord Warren Hastings. In fact, Lord Warren Hastings was the first Governor General of Bengal as per Regulating Act 1773. So Warren Hastings immediately comes to know that Colonel Keatings in the Bombay Council of English East India Company has waged a war against Marathas. So immediately, Like Colonel Keating was asked to stop the war, and he was being asked like, with whose permission you have initiated the war. You have sent one copy of the Treaty of Surat to the Calcutta Council, but did you wait for any instructions? Did you wait for the ratification and approval? Okay. How come you have directly attacked the region of Bombay? How come you have directly attacked the Marathas, and with whose permission? So immediately, Colonel Keating, he was being asked to stop the war. And Warren Hastings had dispatched another person whose name was Colonel Upton to convince the Marathas that why are we fighting? There's no point in fighting. Why don't we enter into a friendly treaty? So now in 1776, a new treaty was signed between English East India Company and the Marathas, and that treaty was referred as Treaty of Purandar. Okay? Treaty of Purandar between English East India Company and the Marathas now. Is the point clear till here, everyone? Yes. Did you understand the Treaty of Surat? After that, what was a step taken by Warren Hastings and so on? Hope so the picture is clear till here, every one of you. Okay. Now let's move ahead. What happened as per Treaty of Purandar? The first clause that was accepted here was English East India Company said, we accept Savai Madhav Rao as the Peshwa and we accept Barabhai Council as the regent for Savai Madhav Rao. First thing, or the first clause of Treaty of Purandar. Apart from this, English East India Company was ready to give back the acquired territories of Maratha such as Salseet and Bassein. But English East India Company said, if we are giving you back Salseet, at least give us the region that will yield the revenue of 3 lakh rupees per annum. So this was agreed as a part of, or the second clause of Treaty of Purandar. From the side of Marathas, it was agreed that if Raghunath Rao is ready to disband his army, okay, we will give a monthly pension of 25,000 rupees to Raghunath Rao. But one condition is there, he should forget the dream of becoming the next Peshwa, and in that case, he have to disband his army. So a monthly pension of 25,000 rupees per month was promised to Raghunath Rao as a Treaty of Purandar. And Marathas also asked English East India Company that you should not maintain any kind of relations with Raghunath Rao or Raghoba, because we are paying him 25,000 rupees per month as a pension, and he should be ready to disband his army. So these were the clauses of the Treaty of Purandar that was signed between English East India Company and the Marathas in 1776. Okay. Now after this, what happened? What was one of the clause? English East India Company should not maintain any kind of relations with Raghunath Rao or Raghoba. But English East India Company, as we have seen, they are quite diplomatic and they are opportunist as well. English East India Company, specifically Warren Hastings, maintained secret relations with Raghunath Rao. And Warren Hastings said to Raghunath Rao, wait for the right time. On the other hand, now Marathas also got alarmed. Now Marathas thought that who is Warren Hastings and English East India Company to interfere in the internal administrative matters of the Marathas? So if they have interfered now, probably they can interfere at some times later as well. So we continuously have, we have a continuous threat of English East India Company, and we have to deal with this threat at any cost. So this was felt by Marathas. So on one hand, Warren Hastings, he had agreed in Treaty of Purandar that he is not going to maintain any relations with Raghunath Rao. So on one hand, he is maintaining secret relations with Raghunath Rao. On the other hand, what did Marathas do? Marathas, they were maintaining secret relations with the French. And as we have seen, Britain and France are the arch rivals of each other. They were fighting throughout the world in the name of colonialism. Correct? So Marathas now wanted to give their army the training on Western lines. And for that purpose, Marathas were maintaining good relations with the French. In fact, many historians do believe that Marathas had given a port to the, France on the western part of India at that time, so that the 10,000 Maratha soldiers would be trained by 1,500 to 2,500 French soldiers. So Raghunath Rao a secret relation, like a secret diplomatic relation was maintained between English East India Company and Raghunath Rao on one side. On the other hand, Marathas are building a strong army with the help of French experts. Warren Hastings comes to know about this. And when Warren Hastings comes to know about this, again, the battle becomes inevitable. And when the battle becomes inevitable, what happened? Again, specifically speaking, Raghunath Rao, along with English East India Company, started attacking Marathas. And at this time, another important military commander of the Marathas was leading the battle, whose name was Mahadji Scindia. So, what did Mahadji Scindia do? As we have seen previously, Marathas are expert in guerrilla warfare technique. Okay, I'll give you one of the finest example of the guerrilla warfare technique. Like for example, Marathas were expert in the terrains of the Western Ghats. Okay, in the mountainous terrains of the Western Ghats. So they knew every part of the Ghat. They knew every nook and corner of the Ghats. So they thought that why don't we lure and attract the army of English East India Company into the Ghats of Talegaon. And when the army of English East India Company will come into the Ghats of Talegaon, we will besiege the entire region of Talegaon Ghats and then start attacking the English East India Company. And this kind of a technique that was used by Marathas is referred as Ganimikawa technique. Okay, like it's nothing but a kind of a guerrilla warfare technique. So the army of English East India Company was lured into Talegaon Ghats. And the entire Talegaon Ghats was being surrounded by the Marathas. And here English East India Company had to face a humiliating defeat. Now, Marathas come to know that there is another place called as Khopoli. And Khopoli was the arms supply base of whom? It was an arms supply base of the Marathas. Arms supply base of the English East India Company. Immediately, the Khopoli base of English East India Company was also destroyed. Somehow, few members of English East India Company or few soldiers of English East India Company saved their lives and escaped from Talegaon, and they went to another place, Vadgaon. And when they reached Vadgaon, again another unit of Maratha army was waiting for English East India Company in Vadgaon, and the Vadgaon was also besieged by Marathas. So here, English East India Company was defeated in Talegaon Ghats. English East India Company was defeated in Khopoli. English East India Company was defeated in Vadgaon by the Marathas. Now finally again one more treaty was signed, and that was referred as Treaty of Vadgaon. Okay. Now what happened as per Treaty of Vadgaon? As per Treaty of Vadgaon, English East India Company was ready to give back all the conquered territories of Marathas. So this is happening. These are not all the different battles, my friends. Okay. This is happening as a part of the first Anglo-Maratha War itself. And as we had discussed, it began first with Treaty of Surat. After Treaty of Surat, there was another treaty which was signed in 1776, which was referred as Treaty of Purandar. Now another treaty is signed, which is referred as Treaty of Vadgaon. Now as per this Treaty of Vadgaon, what happened? Marathas decided that, English East India Company has to restore back all the conquered territories of Marathas since 1775. Okay. Now, what happened to Warren Hastings? Nobody knows about this. But after some time, Warren Hastings, he himself defied the Treaty of Vadgaon, and he said that I do not accept the Treaty of Vadgaon. Because he saw this as an humiliation. He said, I do not accept Treaty of Vadgaon. Immediately, he dispatched 3 important officers to attack on the Marathas again. And these 3 important officers were, one was Colonel Goddard. Colonel Goddard captured the region of Ahmedabad and Bassein, that is in 1779 and 1780. Then Captain Popham captured the region of Gwalior in 1780. And General Camac, okay. General Camac, he conquered the region of Sipri around 1781. So these 3 military commanders were being dispatched by Warren Hastings to capture these regions respectively. Okay. Now at that time, Mahadji Scindia, he was one of the able military commander from the side of Marathas. So what happened? Again, another diplomatic move by Warren Hastings. And what was that diplomatic move? The move was, like, Mahadji Scindia was called by English East India Company, Warren Hastings. And Warren Hastings said that we have conquered the region of Gwalior. Don't worry, we will give you back the region of Gwalior. Do not worry about this. But become a mutual guarantor for the new treaty. Okay. So like, first of all, what we say, for peaceful development of the relations between the English East India Company and the Marathas, we want to enter into the Treaty of Marathas. Okay. But in that case, we want you, Maharji Scindia, to become the mutual guarantor for the treaty. And if you do this, we will return back the Gwalior region to you. And finally, the first Anglo-Maratha War got ended with a new treaty, and that treaty was referred as Treaty of Salbai. I repeat, Treaty of Salbai. And as a part of Treaty of Salbai, Salseed would continue to remain in the possession of English East India Company. The conquered territories were returned back to the Marathas. Finally, Raghunath Rao, he was sent to Jhansi as a pensioner, but Raghunath Rao had requested the Marathas, you are sending me to Jhansi as a pensioner, but at least make one of my son, or at least introduce one of my sons in the Maratha administration. So Bajirao too was included in the Maratha administration. There is a very major role of Bajirao too in Second and Third Anglo-Maratha War. Okay, so do remember that. So precisely speaking, Salseet, it will remain with English East India Company. The other conquered territories were returned back. By whom? The other conquered territories were returned by English East India Company to the Marathas. Raghunath Rao was sent to Jhansi as a pensioner, and his son Bajirao too was taken into the administration of the Marathas. And Maharji Scindia acted as a mutual guarantor for this new treaty of Salbai. So this was nothing but the end of First Anglo-Maratha War. So as a part of First Anglo-Maratha War, you have to remember series of 4 events followed by 4 important treaties. The first was Treaty of Surat, followed by Treaty of Purandar, then Treaty of Vadgaon, and finally Treaty of Salbai. Hope so the points are clear to all of you. Please answer in the comment section. Okay. My friends, StudyIQ IAS has come up with GS Foundation batches P2I for 2027 and 2028. And the batches are completely based on the SMART model. SMART model precisely means there would be structured classes wherein the students would be taught with the basics first, followed by the foundation, followed by the advanced. After that, there would be a mentor who would be guiding you throughout your journey for civil services preparation. Okay, there would be proper revisions and the test that would be conducted, proper focus on the answer writing practices. Apart from this, there would be other aspects such as how to frame a proper timetable. Then apart from this, how to maintain a consistency, how to maintain a disciplined approach during the preparation. So there would be a mentor who would be guiding you throughout your journey for civil services preparation. And as a part of Arambh UPSC offer, there's a complete 50% off on all the courses across StudyIQ IAS platform, precisely related to UPSC. And the most important aspect, the batches are completely available in English medium. Very simple words, there's a complete separate batch for English. Correct? Like many of the students face problem like, how do we study? Like there are batches in Hindi and English mixed. But here there's a complete separate batch in English medium that will cater to the needs of the aspirants, precisely from southern part of India and northeastern India. Okay, the batches are, these are the evening batches, and as a part of Arambh UPSC offer, there's a complete 50% off. So if you use the code Alok Live, you will get the discount. I repeat the code Alok Live. Okay. So my friends, with this, I'll stop my words for the day. See you guys tomorrow with the next topic, Second and the Third Anglo-Maratha War, which is again very important from the exam perspective. Till then, thank you and have a very nice day. Bye-bye everyone. Jai Hind.